All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're completely cutting through all the noise, We're looking at the hard, cold data to find out what it actually takes to survive the AI revolution. We're going to demystify exactly how you can future-proof your career against that looming wave of automation. Let's get into it.
It's kind of the universal anxiety of our time right now, isn't it? I mean, we all know we need new skills, but no one actually seems to tell us exactly which ones will keep us employed. We constantly hear this super vague advice, right? Like, oh, just learn to code, or you got to be more creative. But what does the hard data actually say?
Look, the rules of the game are changing literally right in front of us. As manual and basic cognitive tasks inevitably start to decline, the modern workplace is rapidly going to demand much higher technological, social, and emotional capabilities. Honestly, no matter what sector you're in, you are going to need a totally new foundation.
To map this all out, we're breaking down McKinsey's massive study of 18,000 people into 5 key steps. We'll cover the Future Work Challenge, introducing the 56 deltas, the education disconnect, skills for better outcomes, and finally, shaping lifelong learning.
Section 1. The Future Work Challenge, Beyond Basic Skills. Traditional job roles as we know them are just being totally rewritten.
So to really understand this shift, we actually need a brand new vocabulary. We need to talk about deltas, which stands for distinct elements of talent. Now, the researchers purposefully used this acronym to hammer home that future success requires this unique blend of both hard skills and personal attitudes. An attitude like, say, adaptability or coping with uncertainty, well, that's now considered a measurable, absolutely crucial talent. It's literally just as important as any hard skill when it comes to operating digitally and continually adapting to whatever comes next.
Section 2. Introducing the 56 deltas. Mapping the framework. So how exactly do we organize all of these skills without getting, well, entirely overwhelmed?
The researchers categorize human capability into 4 distinct buckets. These are cognitive, interpersonal, self-leadership, and digital. Basically, it's how you think, how you relate to others, how you manage yourself, and how you handle technology. Honestly, it's a surprisingly clean way to look at a highly complex workforce.
And here we see the whole shebang. This taxonomy maps out all 56 distinct building blocks of future talent. It is just incredibly comprehensive. We're talking everything from structured problem solving to resolving conflicts, all the way to cybersecurity literacy, and even just sheer grit and persistence. It really represents an unbelievable scale of research that clearly defines exactly what makes someone valuable in tomorrow's economy.
Section 3. The education disconnect. Does the degree mean you're ready? Because you might think your university diploma means you're totally prepared for this new world, but the data reveals a pretty fascinating reality check. Okay, here's the ultimate reality check. Despite living in this hyper-tech-driven era, people actually score the lowest in the digital category. Crazy, right? Specifically, we're talking about software use and understanding digital systems. On top of that, things like communication and planning also scored way lower than average. This shows us that we have real, measurable gaps in the exact areas that the future demands the absolute most.
Now, while a traditional university degree might boost your digital literacy, data analysis, and programming skills, it has almost zero correlation with crucial soft skills. I mean, things like empathy, coping with uncertainty, or resolving conflicts. Actually, and this is kind of shocking, for traits like humility, more education was actually associated with lower proficiency. Go figure. It turns out college doesn't necessarily teach you how to relate to other human beings.
Section 4. Skills for better outcomes. What gets you hired, paid, and happy?
So what's the actual real-world payoff here? Well, by isolating the variables, the researchers mapped out exactly which skills statistically drive the 3 things we all care about the most: actually landing the job, securing top-tier income, and, genuinely enjoying the work. Let's put the financial impact into perspective for just a second. Someone with high digital proficiency is 41% more likely to earn a top quintile income compared to someone with lower proficiency. 41%! That is just a massive premium for mastering the digital tools of the modern workplace. But hey, if your immediate goal is just to get your foot in the door, highly specialized tech skills aren't actually the deciding factor. The data shows that simply getting hired relies heavily on self-leadership traits, things like synthesizing messages, coping with uncertainty, and adaptability. Basically, to stay employed in a shifting landscape, your ability to adapt to changes is way more critical than any one single specialization.
Now pivot over to high income, and the required skill set shifts dramatically. Top earners master a very specific triad:
unshakable self-confidence, rigorous work plan development, and deep organizational awareness. Essentially, they know exactly how to navigate complex corporate hierarchies while implicitly trusting their own judgment.
And what about actual day-to-day job satisfaction? Well, self-leadership reigns supreme once again. The top three are self-confidence, coping with uncertainty, and self-motivation and wellness. Believing in your abilities and proactively managing your own wellness, that's what ultimately makes a career fulfilling and actually enjoyable.
Section 5. Shaping lifelong learning. How we adapt to the new reality. With these profound gaps and incredible payoffs identified, we really have to zoom out and look at how our training systems must urgently shift.
This data exposes a massive systemic blind spot. The very self-leadership skills that statistically secure employment and drive happiness are almost entirely missing from adult training programs. I mean, we are literally 20 times more likely to teach basic communication than the self-leadership skills that actually matter for surviving the future. Crazy.
So, to fix this, the researchers suggest 3 major systemic shifts. First, establish AI aggregators to guide adult training directly to market needs. Second, introduce dynamic, skill-based certification systems to replace those rigid, outdated degrees. And third, fund schemes conditional on high-impact Delta training. Think of it this way. Just as the Industrial Revolution drove the expansion of universal primary education, today's technological revolution demands a massive, affordable expansion of lifelong adult training to keep us all relevant. We simply can't use 19th century education models for a 21st century reality, right?
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a hard look at your own tool belt. The data is absolutely clear here. Future-proofing isn't just about learning the newest piece of software. It's about adaptability, interpersonal connection, and deep self-leadership. So ask yourself, and I mean really think about it, how do you plan to actively build the skills that AI simply cannot replace? Which of the 56 DELTs are you going to upgrade next?